Hello, good evening. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti,
Om
Sister
Shanti, Sister
Madhvi. How
Om
are
Madhvi.
you?
Shanti.
Om
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister
Om
Madhvi.
Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhvi. Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti,
Shanti,
Sister
Sister
Madhvi.
Madhvi.
Om
Om Shanti.
Shanti, everyone. Good evening. Hope you had a beautiful day. And so, once again, we have gathered to have a session together. And so, as you know, today's topic is on when love is mixed with attachment. What happens when love is mixed with attachment? And so, what is love and what is attachment? So, we'll be learning about it today. Bring it up. So, we all, when we think about love, how do we feel? How do we feel when we think about love? I can
Great,
already see
great.
smiles on your faces.
We feel loved, so we can give love.
We feel loved. We
So we
feel
can
loved,
reciprocate.
so we can give love. What are the feelings that emerge when you just think about love?
You feel like nothing else matters or exists.
Yeah, it's true. Nothing much matters, nothing matters, nothing exists. It's like when you just think about love, even when I asked the question, you had this beautiful smile on your face. It's like there's something about love, right? How love makes us, feel so joyful and out of this world. It's a beautiful feeling. Each one wants to experience that. And when we feel that love, it's as if you want the time to just stop, right? Right, the time to stop. And when you think of love, what are the things that comes to your mind? And that's why, about love, they always show, flowers and balloons and chocolates, and they bring some sort of sweetness, right? All these things actually we show as a symbolic for love. We don't show thorns and those kind of things for love, right? They're always sweet things. So love is something that we all want to experience, or we want to be in that feeling, because I think it just takes us to another um, complete different dimension, experiencing this love. So let me just bring up the slides that I've prepared for this evening. Okay, there you go. So let us straight go into the first slide. We're just listening to the beautiful meditation commentary on self-love, right? And so, whenever actually we think about love or we speak about love, it's actually we are speaking about our own self. This is one of the most important things to understand about love. Spirituality always brings us back to the self. When we are talking about these beautiful qualities and virtues, spirituality always actually brings us back into an inner journey or inwards. And so when we talk about love, actually we are talking about our own self, because where is love? Love is inside, right? We all say that. We are actually, as spiritual beings, we are embodiments of love. So love actually begins from my own self, from my inner being. So when we are talking about love or when we are thinking about love, actually it is thinking about my own self, right? To live as love is to be yourself. So in spirituality, we learn that one is that we look at this image that is external, right? And so the external image is our physical body and everything that is connected to our physical system. But then there is a being that is inside this physical image, and that is the soul, that is the being, that is the most beautiful one, which is invisible to these eyes. And so that's where the soul, is an embodiment of peace. One of the virtues or qualities of the soul, the being, is love. And that's why whenever we talk about love, it's actually we're talking about our own self. Love is not something that can be separated from the soul. But do we feel that? Do we experience that? I am love. How much do we experience that? I am love. I don't have to look for love somewhere out there. I am love. How much do we experience that? And how often do we forget that? Right? And why do we forget that I am love and this love is within me? Is because mostly we live in this physical consciousness or this physical identity. And so that's why instead of turning inwards and finding and experiencing that beautiful virtue which is inside, I'm actually looking for it somewhere out there. And so when we think about love, as I said, it's within us. And so it begins from self-love. Love always begins from self-love. If I don't know how to love myself, I really cannot love anyone. If I don't know how to care for myself, I don't know how to care for others. So first and foremost thing, spirituality is teaching us, go within, love yourself. First of all, identify this beautiful virtue which you're always looking out there. Wish somebody was there to love, wish there was love there. I could get love from this one. We're always actually in a search of this love. But the moment I turn inwards towards my own self, self meaning the soul, I can experience this beautiful virtue which is inside myself. And so that is why whenever we talk about love, the first thing is that it's about understanding, it's about knowing the love inside myself. And so when do I even recognize or love myself? If I see waste and negative qualities inside me, negativity, do I feel like loving myself? say you got angry about something, after that you feel like, oh, I have so much self love, I just got angry. Do you feel like that? You become impatient with someone. Oh, I love myself so much, I just became impatient. So, what makes you actually love yourself? Hmm? What makes you love yourself? So just even think about love. You know, when we say to others, I love you, or when we even think about, self love, what makes us love something or myself?
Taking care of yourself.
Sorry?
Taking care of yourself.
Thinking about yourself, caring about yourself. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
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 Yeah. But when do you even care for yourself? So, one is knowing that you are this spiritual being who already has abundance of love inside, this beautiful virtue which is already inside me. The second thing is when I would start loving myself is when I actually know that whatever I am looking, out there to fulfill myself is actually inside me. So, what am I looking out there? So, of course, one is love, peace, right? Power, or that happiness. So, all of these things I'm actually looking out there. But when I understand and I start to experience that whatever I'm actually looking out there is inside my own self. So, I, the soul, I'm an embodiment of all these virtues. When I start to experience that, I will really start loving myself because I'm a beautiful being. Right? Love is always somewhere connected to beauty. And so, somewhere our love has shifted from inner being to this external layer of skin. That's
Uh,
why, for somebody to love me, I'm always fixing myself. I want to look beautiful so that they can love me.
Sister Madhvi, sorry, can you repeat the earlier part, please?
Which one?
Just before, caring of oneself, like dressing up to look beautiful. That
Yeah, I mean, so
before that,
yeah, before that, I
before
was
that,
saying, when do you feel like loving someone? Or, we're talking
right?
about love, right? So we're talking about beginning from this love actually begins from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't know how to love myself, then I don't know how to love others. But how do I love myself when sometimes I see something waste inside me, or sometimes I'm negative, or I'm sometimes upset? Then you don't feel like loving yourself. But what makes me love myself is when I identify, when I understand and identify, and start to begin to experience that I have those beautiful virtues, what I'm actually looking, the things that I'm looking out there in the world to fulfill myself are actually within myself.
Okay,
And
yeah. This was the
so,
thing which I was wanting to hear back. This
mm,
was the thing.
yeah. So what I'm looking out there is peace or acceptance or happiness. These are the things I'm actually looking out there. But as a spiritual being, I have all of this inside me, right? And so these wonderful qualities are making me beautiful. And when I understand that I am actually beautiful, then naturally I'll have that self love, that self care. So, two things. One is knowing that I am an embodiment of love. There is love within me, right? It's a nice Hindi word actually. It's called Swaroop. In Hindi, you call it as Prem Swaroop. I really like that word swaroop, which means like you're an embodiment, you know. So when your embodiment, it's like that virtue cannot be separated from you. In the same way, this love that we really talk about, and today we are looking for it so much out there, is within myself. I'm the swaroop of that. You know, I'm an embodiment of that love. Excuse me. So, because love is connected to the soul, or love is, you know, the virtue of the soul, that is why love is eternal, because the soul is eternal. I am eternal. So, the love within me is eternal, it's imperishable, it's always there. Even now, you are an embodiment of love. You're filled with love. Can you experience that as you're listening? Can you feel that love within yourself? Can you feel that I am a loving being? I don't have to look for this love out there. I am that. Can you feel that within yourself? Because it's eternal, it's within me. And this beautiful love is unconditional. Because love is connected to the pure consciousness, that is the soul, love is always pure. No, love is always pure. Love doesn't have any conditions. Love is limitless. Love is selfless. And when I am in that space, when I really experience I'm an embodiment of that, that's what my love will be. My love will not have any conditions. It won't be selfish. Only if you give, I'll give. Yeah. Or I measure how much you're giving, then that's what I'll give. I'm selfless. This love becomes, you know, as I said, limitless, like universal. It's for everyone. It's complete when this love is within me, when I experience this love of the soul, the self love, I'm actually complete. I don't need anything to complete me. But the problem is today we feel very hard to believe all these things because we are not experiencing. I have completely forgotten it is within me. And let me start loving myself first. And because I stopped believing that it's within me, I'm looking for this outside to complete me. And that's why we say in relationships, right? This one completes me. But that one complete me for my whole life? So when there is love, when I experience this love within myself, actually, already I'm complete. And this love is the key to healthy relationships. Whenever in spirituality, what is actually love? What is a relationship? A relationship is said to be an exchange, a give and take of love, light, and power. Any relationship, a relationship means these three ingredients: love. We share that love with each other, that light, that lightness. In love, if you're feeling heavy, that means it's not love. You know, sometimes in relationships, after some time, you start to feel heavy, some sort of discomfort begins. That means something somewhere went wrong, actually. So, relationship means that give and take of love, lightness in a relationship. I should feel actually light. And a true healthy relationship means power. In a relationship, when there is love, we make each other powerful. But in a relationship, I am feeling weak. That means something went wrong. So it's love, lightness, and power. So this love is so beautiful. So we were just talking about it. So love is such an elevated virtue among all the virtues that actually people compare love with God, right? Somewhere mankind we started to say that love is God or God is love. So just think about it. We are comparing love with God. I don't know if we said love, peace is God and God is peace, but we did say for love. So that means it's such an elevated value that, virtue that is so equivalent to God. We're comparing it with God. So, how beautiful is this love? And so, when this love is there, how our relationships should look? When there is really this pure love, how do we interact? Or when there is pure love, how does this world look like? Think about it. And so, if our relationships are become unhealthy, that means love doesn't exist. So, what is happening to love then? So, we've just discussed about this that, you know, love is something which is inside and it begins from self love. But we have got used to, we got habituated for looking for love out there. Mm. And then we have something like, 1 day celebration of Valentine's Day or a day of love where people exchange things, flowers and all sorts of things. And so we have actually limited it to a day. So looking for love out there only delays the discovery of love and blocks the entry of love into our life, when in truth it already lives in our own heart. It's there, it's in my heart. But the more I keep looking out there that, somebody should love me, somebody should appreciate me, um, I need somebody's approval to tell me how beautiful I am. Somebody should say that I've done well, all these things. We wait and we delay to experience that love which is already there. So think for a moment now before we go into the next slide. And can you take like just about maybe 30 seconds and just become that embodiment and feel it, and just check yourself, or go inwards and feel, and I am an embodiment of love. Can you feel it? If I'm unable to feel, why I'm unable to feel? So just take those 30 seconds and feel, can I become that embodiment of love? And so when I experience love, my whole expressions change. When you experience love, how is your vision? What sort of vision do you have? When you experience being a loveful soul, how do you talk? How do you listen? How do I walk? How are my gestures? And so I have to keep going back to this experience that I have it and I am. And so in the earlier slide, we were talking about, you know, it is this love is in our own heart. But where is this heart? Is love in this physical heart? When we say always, right? I mean, love, whenever we talk about love, we show these, love, the heart symbol. So, what is that? It's connected. Yeah, right. So, but this physical heart is the one which is pumping blood, right? So, when we talk about love, where is this love? Where is this heart, first of all? So, it's a spiritual heart, right? It's a spiritual heart, which is, you can say it's the soul. So that's why love is that pure energy which is in the soul, and the heart is here. When we talk about love in the heart, it's not this heart. This heart is just a physical heart, but it's the heart in the soul that is actually carrying that beautiful love. And so, what happened then within the line? Everything is going well, and we are experiencing love. When we are in a relationship or when we begin something, we love it, we start to, enjoy it. There is such pure innocence inside about my relationship. Then what happens? Then what happened to the story? What went wrong? Is attachment. Slowly, this attachment begins to creep in. So, think about that love initially, like when you're in a relationship, right? Or when you bought something, or when you're in a relationship. That sort of sweet love is there. Even if you see any kind of, uh, you know, um, uh, it's like even though that person is not perfect, you're still there with a big heart to accept. Nothing matters to you. You're so unconditional. Then you feel very pure. It's as if your love is flourishing, your relationship is flourishing. But then slowly something happened that after some time that relationship starts to feel a bit heavy. Somewhere, instead of feeling empowered, I'm feeling powerless, weak. So where did that shift happen? Is that actually shift didn't happen out there. It's not that that person changed. That's why I'm feeling like this. Spirituality brings us back to our own self. There is something shifted inside me, not about the person, not out there, because many times, the suffering or the feeling, what we are experiencing inside, we always put on others, saying because of you. But actually, spirituality says it's something shifted inside you, and that is somewhere down the line, instead of experiencing that love, it slowly shifted to attachment. Meaning, now understand this, love is something It is connected to the soul, right? It's pure. And so no matter how the other person is, whatever it is, you didn't bother you much, because somewhere there is love for the soul. But attachment is something connected to an image. So this soul conscious love slowly shifted to body conscious love. So attachment means that you started to connect to an image. How that person looks, external aspects became important for you. How that person looks, how they behave, and what do I want. And so then now, because my consciousness has shifted from the soul to body, so my love also shifted from experiencing that pure love, I have shifted to attachment. So when there is attachment, there is always this demand of the image. I want that image to behave or be like the way I want it. So an image of how you wanted them to be, an image to which your heart had become attached to. So my expectation. So what is happening in attachment? I'm trying to hold them the way I want. This is how I expect. This is how I want you to be. Because if I'm looking at them as a spiritual being, that wouldn't happen. But because my consciousness has shifted to body, definitely then the differences begin. Right? So what is happening in that attachment is, we'll go to that fear, but I just wanted to say that yes, when you're attached to something, when you're holding on to something tight, what is developing inside you is fear of losing it. Right? When I'm too attached to something, what I'm doing is I am creating fear inside myself. So attachment equals to fear. I don't want to lose it. And I want the way, I think should be. So wherever there is attachment, there is fear. And in that fear, what we do? There are two things in fear, in attachment. We do is, one is we become possessive. The other is that why we become possessive, right? Some may say, what is their attachment? Attachment is natural. We all are born and we are here, we are together. It's natural to have attachment. No, it is not natural to have attachment. Okay, if I think it's natural to be attached to someone, and attachment, we should have attachment towards each other, then think about this word of possessiveness. So attachment equals to actually possessiveness. I become possessed. I become actually, possessed in one way, because I'm constantly thinking about that person. Constantly, that person becomes me somewhere. I think someone is unmuted themselves. Do you want to ask here something, or you want to mute yourself, please? Okay. So it's like when I become attached to someone, it's like there is no difference, right? Their life becomes my life. If they are suffering, I'm suffering at the same time. If they become angry, I become angry. If they become upset, I become upset. That's what is happening when I'm attached to something. So if this one falls, I also fall. If this one is happy, I am also happy. Don't we all experience this in relationships today? We do. somewhere I'm not able to actually separate myself and help that soul somewhere, and we think you know, it's natural to be attached, but it is not. It's like becoming, possessive. It's like possessive means like become, control. So attachment means an attitude of possessiveness. I want to like, hold on to them tightly. And the second thing is control. And so why is that relationships and why is this attachment, why we are becoming possessive in relationships is because of insecurity. Can you mute yourself, please? I'm not sure who is unmuting. Somebody N, somebody with N is getting. Do you want to ask something? Can you mute yourself? Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, in attachment, that possessive attitude, this person should be and behave like the way I want. And why that is happening? Because of insecurity. Somewhere I think today in the world we are all insecure about so many things, about everything. I'm insecure about so many things. And because of that insecurity, we want to control. And just think how much of pain that causes inside the soul. It's actually, I'm giving pain to my own self with this attachment. So somewhere this pure love is disappearing. I mean, it's there, but I'm not actually using it in my relationships anymore. And so that's why I'm, having so much of fear of not losing something, or, this person always should be in front of my, this person should always be like this. So just think how much of conflict, inner conflict we are creating to our own self. With that possessive attitude. So attachment is becoming possessive, control. I want this one to be this way. And then it's that most biggest thing is expectation, right? And the moment I have expectations, it's like the end of the relationship. Meaning, why? Because expectations never end. One expectation after other. I want that person to fulfill what I'm feeling inside. And so there is no end for my expectations. And so, as Shakespeare said, that expectation is the root of all heartache. The moment I'm expecting someone to be some way, I'm actually creating sorrow for my own self. And so, all of these things happen in attachment, because attachment is now, because that love is no more towards the soul. It's towards the body, it's towards, what they have, it's towards the way they behave. And so attachment completely brings us into limitations. I'm constantly juggling to fix others. Now you may say, how can I not, it's my close relationships, I need to correct them, I need to tell them. Of course you need to correct them or you need to tell them, but not becoming role conscious. This is what happens in attachment, is that I become role conscious rather than soul conscious. Rather than seeing others as soul, I start to see them and behave them from the consciousness of role. All right? So in role consciousness, what is happening? That I am mother, and this is how I need to take care of my children, and this is how I need to be, uh, possessive of my children, control my children. I'm a husband, and this is how I'm going to behave towards my wife. I am wife, and this is how I'm going to behave to my. So we all have boxed ourselves in role consciousness. We become the role rather than actually enjoying the relationship, rather than being a soul. I'm interacting with another soul, but somewhere I've boxed myself in a role, and that's why I limit myself the way I interact and behave with others. So it's like, I'll just give an example. Like, there is a mother, and every time I ask her, "How are you?" Maybe I must have given this example before, but it really, every time, I asked her, "How are you?" She talks about her son. She'll say, "My son is fine," but I'm asking about you, you know. And so every time she's sad because her son, she's happy because of her son. So it's like as if every time, I ask her, I interact with her, as if she doesn't exist. Her image has become her son's image. There is no more like, it's as if she doesn't exist anymore. So sometimes in relationships, that's what we become. Like, this attachment completely makes us forget that, I exist. I also exist. Why is this, I am so much influenced, or so much, possessed by this relationship, that I don't realize that I too exist. So that's why, going back to that first aspect of self love, remember, if I don't have that self love, I don't know how to actually love my kids. I don't know how to love people around me. So, attachment also means that constant self criticism. I'm not better. I'm not better enough. I'm not beautiful. I'm not there. I need someone to complete me. My children will give me that happiness. My spouse will give me happiness. Somebody will make me complete. This is what I'm always looking. I'm always in a needy, experience, feeling. I always want. I'm never content inside. So just come out of this role for a moment and just interact. Whoever is around you, your relationships, start looking at them as a soul. And this soul is in my life for some reason. Can I actually detach from this role? And that's where love, in the aspect of love, detachment definitely comes. If I cannot detach myself from the image of others, I cannot have pure love. So detachment plays an important role. And that's why in spirituality we learn loving and detached. If I cannot be detached, I cannot actually love. Love do not exist where there is no detachment. And so when I'm talking about detachment, detachment is not isolating myself. Detachment means like, I'm a hermit, I'm off, I don't have any relationship. No. Detachment is detachment from a role, detachment from a physical image, detachment from these insecurities. So again, going back to, I have it and I can actually give, rather than in relationship, I'm waiting, when will I get it? Then I'll give. So now make this little shift. Now we are learning this session. It's not that we just learn and then Om Shanti. Next minute after this session, I'm back to my, role conscious, and, I'm a mother-in-law, and this is how I'm going to act to my daughter-in-law. I'm a daughter-in-law, and this is how I'm going to act to my mother-in-law. All these relationships, just think about it, how we boxed ourselves. And then we think because I'm in this role, I have to treat the other person this way. A few years ago, I remember a lady, she was, unhappy about her daughter in law. And she was saying, my daughter in law is like this, and I get so disturbed. And when we sit together to eat, she never asks me, do you want anything? This is what actually we get caught up in, all little things. Little things. We think this is how I need to control this person, and this is what this person should be doing to fulfill my desire. And then I said, okay, but just think for a moment. If your daughter is sitting, not your daughter in law, okay? If your daughter is sitting and if your daughter does the same thing, okay, she doesn't ask you, Mom, do you want something? Do you feel the same way? And she was absolutely quiet. She couldn't say. And she just smiled, no. Yeah. But then why are you feeling that way towards your daughter in law? That means you boxed this soul in a relationship, in a role of daughter in law. And this one should be behaving like this because she is in that role. So, where is that love? Where is that respect? So, because we are becoming this role conscious today, we are actually losing that. Um, we are becoming stingy in behaving respectfully or lovingly towards others. Right? So think about it. Think about this aspect of when I'm looking at others, am I looking at them in a role or am I looking at them as a soul? Am I behaving with them as a soul who has love for another soul? Am I behaving with them that they are in this particular relationship and this is how I need to behave with them? So, somewhere we are actually losing that pure love, becoming role conscious. We are unable to give that love to each other anymore. You all must be identifying that popular image. Do you all recognize that popular image? Yeah, you remember she's the character of sadness in one of the Disney movies. She represents sadness. Anyway, I thought let me pick up that image. So, yeah, so as I am, in this thing about, playing, from this attachment, eventually in my relationships, I start to actually feel suffocated and feeling that, because my expectations are not fulfilled and people are not behaving the way I want. And so it starts to suffocate me, and that it becomes like a suffering which becomes, deeper and stronger inside me. And then somewhere I would start to blame. This blame game begins because of you. I'm experiencing this. Because of you, I am actually, in pain. Because of you, that's what it's a blame game, right? And but I'm forgetting completely that I have somewhere lost the track of experiencing this love. Somewhere I am not valuing myself, and that's why I'm trying to fill myself what others are giving. So, in this whole beautiful aspect of love, Love means giving. Remember the first, when we were talking about what is a relationship, hmm, the definition of relationship, or relationship is defined as the give and take, not take and give. It's actually give and take. Love means always giving. Love is not taking. Attachment is taking. What I'm getting from them, what I want from them. Right? So I may be thinking I'm having love in relationships, but somewhere I have ended up that instead of giving, I'm actually taking. So it's a very powerful point, right? So in your giving and sharing, you were really taking in disguise. So I'm always taking in relationship what I'm getting from this one, what I'm getting from that one. And then because I'm taking and then I measure, this is what I got, okay, then I give. There is a beautiful word in Hindi called devta. Devta means deity. Devta meaning the one who actually gives, the one who always gives. Mm. So where there is love, I'm like a deity. I'm like a devta. I'm always giving. I'm not actually taking or waiting for others to give. So the moment in relationships I'm experiencing any kind of upheaval, I need to stop and look at myself. What is going on here? Where did I lose the track? Am I in giving mode or in taking mode? And so if I'm taking, who takes? Who takes? A beggar, right? A beggar's hands are always like this. Give. I want. But the one who gives, Devta, the hand is like this, always giving, bestowing. So love means giving. So because of this bitter experiences sometimes in our life with people around us in relationships, then what we do is we block ourselves, we block that sunshine, that beautiful love. I block myself, I block my heart with the cloud. And I don't want to share that love with anyone. And so that's when I would give love to somebody, I would give love to someone. I would share it with someone, I share it little with someone, and with someone I don't even want to share. So love is that purest quality. When I have it, I just give. Like just like the sun never thinks I will only bestow my rays on this, this one and not here, only this part of the area. No, the sun is just bestowing on everyone. In the same way, love is so pure, and one who really has love inside, one who really experiences that love, shines on everyone. I don't block myself. Right? So I need to check myself, right? As I'm listening to this, check yourself, open your heart. And today, if there is anything that you need to let go, just let go. Anywhere, you know, you're carrying this expectations from anyone to feel that love, let it go. Because I don't need anything from anyone, right? And that's coming from insecurity. I'm secure. I have it already. And when I understand I have it already, I'm actually secure. So, how do I conquer this attachment? Attachment is like that, strong chain. And not just towards relationships, attachment is towards so many things. Attached to my own body, right? I don't want to leave this body. I'm so attached because my identity has become this body. I've completely forgotten I'm a soul. Identity has become this body. So there is so much attachment. And because of the attachment towards body, I have fear of losing it. That's why the biggest fear today is death. I don't want anything to happen to this body. But spirituality teaches us that I'm a soul, I'm immortal, I'm eternal. And so the love inside me is eternal. The soul never dies. The soul never dies. The soul is imperishable. The soul is eternal. But what deteriorates is this body. But I am a soul. It's not I have a soul. I am a soul who is eternal. I play my part always. Eternally, I'm playing. And also what I'm attached to. Think about it now that you're listening to this. Think about it. What are you attached to? Are you attached to your position? I don't want to lose this position. Are you attached to relationships? Are you attached to your possessions? And fear of losing it? Are you attached to your wealth? Where is your attachment? And wherever there is attachment, the soul will be gravitated to it naturally, and I'll have thoughts about it. Right? So the right consciousness is that we learn in spirituality that we have come alone and we have to go alone. Yes or no? We all say that. We've come alone and we have to go back alone. As a baby, what did you bring into the world when you took birth? Did you say, Mom, Dad, this is what I brought with me and this is what I'll take with me? No. As an innocent, beautiful child, that soul, you know. But yet, along the line, how many things we get attached to, even after knowing that we don't take them with us. So today, recognize, reflect a little bit. What is that I'm attached to? Anything that I'm attached to, is it causing me, sorrow in any way? Let me check. And so one of the important practices, this detachment from your role, detachment from the image, and recognition that I am eternal, I am soul, and being loving. So loving and detached. So in this entire process, you may even say, how do I even practice loving and detached? We live in this world, there's so much going on, and that's where I need to actually create, some time for my meditation or for some contemplation, for some reflection. It's very important. We all just get so busy from morning till until the end of the day. We're just busy in mundane things or just the things of this physical world. And even when there is time, even when we can take out even little time, we are always looking for something to fill that in. Oh no, I have to take care of my children, I have to do this, I have to do that. When is that I'm going to take out some time for myself? To have this self-awareness, to see what am I inside. To have that taking out time for myself is also self-love. Taking out time for myself to meditate is tapping into my own beautiful qualities, is empowering myself, loving myself, energizing myself, becoming a new beautiful being again. Why is that we neglect when it comes to things like, meditation or some reflection? Why is that we keep it, you know some other time? Time will not wait for me. This moment is gone, it's gone. Time will not wait for me. And if I think when time comes I'll do, forget about it. Time is now. This morning I was talking to someone, and they were saying like, oh, hopefully things will get better by the end of the year. Why do you have to wait until the end of the year? Why do you have to wait until the end of the year? Time is now. Whatever I have to do now, I have to do. This moment is gone, it's gone. Why can't I recognize that each moment is precious? Each moment I have to live. I have to live in love. And so, yes, when I take out some time for myself, I can experience that love, and love, being love, is prior to giving love. So be that love first. When I cannot be that love, how can I actually give? How can I share? So think about this self-love. To what is self-love, and to what extent do I love myself? And don't think it's selfish to love yourself. No, it's not selfish. If you don't know how to take care of yourself, how will you take care of others? It's not selfish. Being love is giving love. And another thing to experience about love and to finish this attachment is to connect to the comforter of hearts. That is the divine being, God, the ocean of love. Did you experience God's love? And how often do you experience God's love? Or do you just connect to Him because to fulfill something, because I have a desire? Just think about it. How is my connection with God? God is called the comforter of hearts. He comforts the heart, this heart which has got wounded, which has got all kinds of sorrow and whatever it is. He comforts the wounds that the heart is experiencing. And so, how much time do I take out to experience that comforter of hearts? In Hindi, it's a beautiful word. It's called Dilaram. Dilaram. Dilaram means the one who comforts the heart. So sometimes our heart feels painful, no? Sometimes we feel alone or, um, you know, sad, and, we don't experience that love. Connect to the comforter of hearts. He's always there to love us. He's always there to nurture, and His love is absolutely selfless. God doesn't measure, God doesn't see whether okay, are you loving me? No, He's just the bestower. He just bestows. And experiencing God's love is the most beautiful thing. Take out some time in the mornings, evenings, sit down for a few moments, connect and experience that divine love. And when I fill myself with that divine love, I'm full. And that's when I'm naturally bestowing to everyone. Got it? One is self love, and other is experiencing the divine love of God. When I experience the divine love, I'm so full. And because I'm full, I'm just giving. I don't need it. And so, in love, everything is possible. So don't say, Sister Madhvi, I don't have time. I don't know when to do this meditation. I don't know how to connect to the comforter of hearts. If I have love, everything is possible. There is nothing impossible in love, right? They say in love, there is nothing difficult. That's how, even in poetic language, has been described. But they say, oh, in love, I can even bring the moon for you. In love, I can even climb the mountains for you. And so now God says we don't have to actually climb mountains and all of that, but experiencing self love and experiencing divine love and sharing that, nothing is impossible. I cannot say I don't have time. I cannot say I'll just, you know, it's hard for me to do it. Nothing is hard. I just need to have that little love. And where there is love, my intellect naturally goes towards it. It's not nothing difficult. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhvi.
Om Shanti, Lalita.
Oh,
Beautiful.
very beautiful. Unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's Norma.
Yes, Norma.
Um, so while you were, what you were saying, I I know it, I feel it, everything you're saying, you are right. If once you connect, you experience the divine love, you'll give it to others. But one thing was running through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize, you meditate, you experience that you are love, remind yourself, what if, I mean, this is, okay, you may think of this as funny. You give this love, it's like giving, you don't look at somebody else. What if you're in this abusive situation? And I think I answer my question, what I'm asking. And you're in this abusive situation, and you still, you connect and you say, to feel, know yourself back again, that you are a soul. And look at the person as a soul. You'll keep going and going. And my answer is yes, keep going and going. Once you connect to your divine, to that divine love, he will make everything possible.
Mm.
Is it safe to say that?
That's true, but then also you have to have, you have to draw a line, right? Meaning, say, uh, in a situation like that, I mean, first is definitely, having a lot of self-love for yourself, your self-love, right? And you need to be sensible too. I mean, if it is, an abusive relationship or somewhere that, it's completely, putting you down, um, I mean, you have to look into it. You have to make a sensible decision, because there is a balance, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that you're coming out of that relationship or you're protecting yourself, doesn't mean that you have self love. Sometimes that detachment also is necessary sometimes to, um, you know, for the soul to heal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's important to do that.
And that is true, because to be honest, personally, when I was younger, I went through that. And now I realize that detachment made me find myself, back again as to who I am, and it made my life better.
Mm.
So as you were saying, sometimes you just have to know,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
You need to know, like, when you want to actually, you know, give yourself that space, and sometimes
right.
give that soul as well some space.
And you know what I did? I didn't even have to do anything. I just tried to connect to the comforter, and he worked it out. I didn't even have to
Yeah,
detach myself. It just
yeah,
detached.
sure.
Yeah.
So somebody wrote a beautiful chat message from iPhone, not sure who, but excellent. Loved how you started with love, how it can turn into attachment to an image and resultant insecurity, how to detach from them and connect to the comfort of the heart. Love the simple yet meaningful and deep slides as well. Thank you are God's gift. Thank you so much. Very nice. I'm not sure who wrote this iPhone, but wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else would like to share anything? Something that put you, yeah. Thank you, sure.
Every one of your classes are so interesting. I know there was one, the power of transformation, and I deleted in error, when you send out, the recording of what
Mhm.
was done. I missed that one. Would you still have it?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
No,
Oh,
it's on
great,
YouTube.
great.
So just go and type it as, the Power of Transformation Queen's Meditation Center. It should come up.
Oh, okay, great. It's good to know.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else? Hello, Fazeda. Om Shanti. Hello. Donna. I don't know if I know Donna. And yes, Vani, you joined. Lovely to have you.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhvi.
Om Shanti, Ma.
Om Shanti. Yes.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti, Fazeda.
Well, I have to say, I've been guilty of all the above that you've talked about tonight. I have,
Oh, no.
so attached, oversensitive. I mean, the whole network I've been guilty of. But I think that's natural, as a child, you develop these attachments, and as you mature, you learn to let go and let people be. And I think I learned that during this pandemic also, that, in so many ways, I was able to observe myself and notice that I would get easily offended. My sister, she, her daughter had a baby and she didn't tell me, and then I caught myself because I've been learning and maturing, and I'm saying, maybe she wasn't ready to say it. And so now I've learned this kind of a detachment, that I feel love, but I don't feel like I need to control the situation as much. Or so it's a learning process for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And
And reminder.
yeah, and it's like um, this is where the most important thing is going back to that soul consciousness. I may feel like, she's my sister, but then if I just remove that role and just look, she's a soul. And as you said, she has her own, maybe she felt she was not ready to share. So,
Yeah,
when
exactly.
I actually come out of that role consciousness, then I'm more at ease.
Yeah. And I felt like when I removed that attachment, I had more love, because I was open to loving the situation, because I wasn't putting all that energy into judging the person. Yeah.
Right. Very nice. Yeah.
And we are hurt only when we are we are in role consciousness. we are soul conscious, then we will not feel pain.
Right, right.
That's the
believe
main
me.
point. We cannot be hurt anytime when we think
Mhm.
we are we feel soul conscious.
Mm-hmm.
We feel painful hurt only when we are playing role of a mother, father, sister, role conscious. That point was very much clear today.
Mhm.
Role consciousness only gives you pain.
Mm-hmm.
And attachment to Baba will automatically detach you from all these role consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, connection with the connect with the comforter of hearts. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dilaram. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, absolutely, you're right.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. When I'm attached to actually God's love, then, everything.
Attachment to Baba automatically detach you from these role consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That point was very clear today.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
It's just that you have to keep reminding yourself, that I am a soul, and if I have to keep reminding myself.
Mm-hmm. It's like, that reminder and that experience of I am an embodiment of love. I'm a living soul. I'm filled with love. I'm an incarnation of love. So many, different ways I can experience myself as being love. Yeah.
Madhvi, I have one question. Like on name of love, like suppose in a family member, it's love, but then they wanted to hold you back. They don't want it to let go. And then you are so attached, you feel bad about it because they say they love you, but then the love is so suffocate you in a relationship. And whether that love is true love or they are insecure, they wanted to hold you back so that you can't go. How do you handle that kind of a situation? Even though we know they are loving you, but they are holding you back not to grow.
Mm-hmm.
How you can do it all?
It's very clear that it's it's definitely not pure, right? It's definitely attachment, what you just described, because as we were talking about attachment, that a relationship means where you feel love, where you feel experience that lightness and power. The moment you feel suffocated, there is something somewhere like selfish, something that I want, and for my benefit, my own selfish desires. I keep a relationship. I want them to do certain things for me. So it's purely an attachment. It's purely selfish. And so, yes, when you are, it depends on the situation. Like you have to create a method, to come out of that. Meaning, like, I mean, the scenario better. What I mean to say is like, whatever we just spoke about, the practices, experiencing your self love, but also, you can always, as I've just mentioned, that you can always create a line where you create that self protection as well. Creating self protection is also having love for yourself. Yeah, no, it's very tricky, relationships. Um, Actually, they say that in the world today, if people were asked, what are you most unhappy about? And most of the people mentioned relationships. Most. So what's going on with our relationships rather than we experiencing, love and that bond? It's becoming like a bondage, where you're feeling suffocated, you want to come out. So, but I cannot wait for others to change. I need to do something about it. I need to step up. I need to start working on it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being this evening. Thank you.